Hello and welcome to this edition of Dirt Talk with Drake York, and I got Outlaw Kart driver and Sprint car driver Daniel Becker on the show. Daniel, it's good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So let's jump right on in. What was your introduction to the sport of racing?
My dad actually, I pretty much was born into it. My dad raced silver dollar, stock cars, and sprint cars, and just pretty much ever since then. We raced motorcycles for a little while, but my brother actually broke his collarbone at Cyclone Speedway, right when the go-karts were starting out. So it was pretty good. My mom told us after that we started racing go-karts in '94, I believe, and then my mom always said 4 tires or no tires. So ever since then we've been racing go-karts.
Well, we talked to other drivers about that. I think we talked to Blake Burgess when he was on the show about that. So kind of the same philosophy there with 4 tires or no tires. Anyway, you grew up in the Becker household. What was it like to grow up in a household like that with Sean, Jamie, and your parents?
Oh, it was great to be in the family that I have. They're always supportive of everything we've ever done. And, growing up with Sean, I made it always competitive with him just because I was the younger brother. I wanted to beat him, So I always tell him that he never let me win. And he knows this by playing with me. I would throw a fit, But just being the younger brother, but I just love being with them, being with my sister, and everybody. Just so much support in the family. I'm blessed to have everybody in my life right now.
You talked about Sean and Jamie there. What's the relationship with you and your siblings? And we tried to get them to throw some dirt on you here for this show, but they wouldn't give you any. So there must be a pretty good relationship there.
Oh yeah, we're pretty tight. I mean, everything we talk about a lot of stuff. I lived with my sister for a little bit, here a couple years ago. So that was really good. We got really close, and being with my brother, we talk about anything, relationships, racing. Obviously racing, that's the number one thing. So I've learned a lot from him being around at the racetrack. So it's a great time.
Last year you hurt your back at Cyclone, missed quite a few races near the end of the season. How did that affect you inside the car, and how are you doing now?
I'm doing pretty good. Basically, what happened last year, I hurt my back just bending over to pick up something, just getting old, I say that I'm only 34, but just working with my dad on the tile, we both have sore backs, from doing that, so just any little thing could happen, and it was just a little minute thing, just picking up a piece of dirt, and I, almost fell to my knees pretty much, but I'm back to good now. I'm back to racing sprint cars again, so that's even better, racing with some shocks. I don't have to worry about bouncing up and down, hurting my back even more, but I'm happy to be back.
What is your day job that you do during the week so you can go racing on the weekends?
I work at RCBS in Oroville, California. Basically, we make reloading equipment for ammo. So I work in the shipping department, so I get to see pretty much everything that we do get shipped out. So hopefully it's not my fault if something gets wrong, but we don't get too many calls on that, so that's good on me.
What have you driven throughout your entire career? You're mostly known for go-karts and sprint cars, but have you driven anything else?
I raced modifieds with my brother and my sister. We all three had one, I think back in 98, 99. But raced modifieds, ran a little spec sprint for Rod Fauber back in 2008 when my brother ran his car. So that was pretty fun. And just motorcycles and go-karts.
So you got the name Buckwheat. How did you get that nickname?
Well, I got that from my uncle. I was 2 years old. We were in Baja, California, and they were doing a tile job there. And basically, I was just running around being a 2-year-old, just whining and crying. And my uncle just looked at me like, "Buckwheat, shut up!" And I shut up. So pretty much ever since then, it kind of stuck with me.
The inaugural year of the Kyle Larson Outlaw Kart Showcase, you won the feature event. How big was that for you?
Oh, it was amazing. I had a pretty off year that year to start out. Everything just DNFs and not top. I wasn't even getting any top 10s, but just showing up to that race with all the competition, everybody there, it was just such an intense race, and to come out with the win, it was amazing for me. At least to be able to run with Colby Culp when he won the championship that night. I won the main event, but it was run. He put a slide job on me in that last lap, so it was pretty scary. But other than that, it was a great night just with everybody there.
What were the emotions like that night? Because your grandpa George, he was the grand marshal, and Sean did pretty well that night too, so it was a good night for the Beckers, it seemed.
Oh yeah, it was actually pretty good. You know, my grandpa being the Grand Marshal, it couldn't have been a better night to have the win like that for me. And it also helped me out having my brother start pretty deep in the field because he was coming pretty quick. You know, probably a few more laps, he probably would have been right up there. So it was fun.
You decided to jump or move up to the sportsman class this year. Why did you make that decision to move to the sportsman this year?
It was pretty tough for me. I just wanted to go out there and have some fun. You know, I wasn't really, obviously I want to win and do whatever I can to win, but you know, I'm not going to be out there much this year. So I just wanted to get out there and have some fun, at least watch some races in the opens, you know, and learn from them what they're doing and see what I can do in the sportsman. The class is actually pretty tough right now. There's at least 15 cars in that class that can win every night, so it's just as good as the open class right now, to tell you the truth.
What's your favorite track you've been able to race at so far in your career?
I'd probably say Missoula, Montana, Big Sky Kartway. You know, I was able to win there in 2011. But that track, every time I go there, I seem like I'm always able to run up front with those guys. And same with that, they run all across the country, you know, all the cars from across the country. So it's nice to be able to run up front with those guys over there.
What's a track that you haven't got the chance to run at that you would like to in the future?
That's a tough one, to be honest. You know, hopefully in the sprint car we can run a few more tracks once the weather gets a little better. We can race a few more races, but other than that, you know, as far as the go-karts, I'd probably say I want to go back to Knoxville, Iowa again. You know, that was a fun race. Ran back there probably 10 years ago, so it's been a while since I've been there, so I'd love to race that again.
What was your favorite paint job that you've ever had?
Oh, that's a tough one because I seem like I went through one every year. Probably my favorite one maybe a few years back, but I had a two-color car. I had green on one side, orange on the other. It was pretty fun because a lot of people would come up to me in the pit area and be like, I was watching you and then all of a sudden I lost you. I didn't know where you went. So it was pretty cool to hear that, to see people get excited about the design I had.
This year you're driving the Rod Favre 64 sprint car. How did you get into that ride?
He called me on January 1st, you know, right after the new year, and he's like, hey, just curious if you would be interested in running some sprint car stuff. I was like, where do I sign up? You know, so it was just amazing to get that opportunity. You know, like I said, I've been blessed with everything I've had, and for him to call me up to think of me to be in the car was pretty great feeling. You know, just I called my brother. I was like, what do I do? You know, and he just said, just do it, go for it. So my brother, he's been behind me the whole time on that one. So it's amazing to get back in the sprint car.
Yeah, what a great way to start off the year. I heard some stuff that if you get a good January 1st, your year will be good.
Oh yeah.
So that's a pretty good way to start off the year. The last time you were in a go-kart, and correct me if I'm wrong, was Outlaw Kart Showcase before this year. You ran hot laps there, then decided to pull out with the hurt back. And then you made the big jump to sprint car. What was the transition like from the go-kart that you haven't ran in a while to a sprint car?
It's actually, get back in the sprint car was a lot tougher because it's been a few years before I got back in one. But being out of the go-kart for a while and then jumping in after a year, it really wasn't as bad, just because it's more, you know, everything's routine for me in the go-kart. But being back in a sprint car, it took a few laps at Marysville that first night to get it figured out. But by the end of the night, I had it feeling pretty good. So,
what's the sprint car side of things? How's that been going so far?
It's off and on right now. I broke the motor a couple races ago, so we're still working on that. And you know, Rod's been on the road traveling with work, so once he gets back and we get the motor figured out, we'll be back at it.
I hear you always first in staging. This is when I try to get your family to throw some dirt on me.
Yeah.
You got a good family, man. If you asked my brother to throw dirt on me, he'd be throwing dirt like mad at me. So why are you always first in staging?
It's an OCD thing for me. I like to just be there and be ready. You know, with the go-kart, I just push my go-kart up probably 3 races early, just to watch for one thing, but make sure my car's there and the car's ready. So it's more of an OCD thing on me. You know, whenever I watch my brother, even in the go-kart, he'll be on the white flag of the race before him, and then all of a sudden he'll jump in. That's what most of the sprint car guys do. So I'm gonna have to get used to that, just so I'm not sitting there with my helmet on for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But other than that, I just like to be ready and be, I got my belts tight, just wanting to be ready to go racing.
when I was talking to your family about that, I asked them if you felt like you lost when you were second car staging for that race. Do you feel that way sometimes?
No, I actually was like, okay, I'm doing something right. I'm getting a little bit later, at least for the sprint car, yeah. It's like I said, just I got to be a little more patient getting in the car, so I don't have to worry about being so, anxious,
What do you like to do when you have free time from work and from racing?
I love to play some golf. Haven't been out there in a while. Like the weather's been a little bit off, but I'd love to get out there and play a couple holes with my brother or a couple of friends out there. So.
You have a daughter, Adley? Is that
Adley?
Adley. Mm-hmm. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. What's it like for you to be a dad?
It's amazing. It actually put a different perspective on racing for me. Just wanting to be with her, watching her grow up and everything like that. Just seeing all the different changes she's going through, and it's amazing. Words can't really describe what I feel when I look at her. Just everything she's doing. She's talking now, so she yells at me, but that's okay.
Do you think she'll race later in the future?
That's gonna be on her. I think whenever she's, 5 or 6 or so, we'll see what she wants to do. Kind of like with Allison and Kaylee, Kaylee just started last week for the first time, and she's 8, almost 9. So it's probably that's about the right age I want to try her out, and if she wants to do it, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, all of her cousins race. Blake Burgess does his too. Mm-hmm. Do you own a pet?
Oh yeah, I have a dog named Bella. She's a Dachshund Terrier mix, and I got her a couple years, probably 2010. I got her. But yeah, I was living on my own for a little while when I had her, so it was nice to have a little companion.
What's something that most people do not know about you?
They pretty much, I'm just a shy person. They probably noticed that whenever I'm at the racetrack. I don't really talk a whole lot. I don't like to talk about myself so much. I just kind of, people want to ask me questions, and I'll try talking, but I don't really like to say much when I'm at the racetrack. I just kind of get in my zone and work on the car and want to go racing.
What's your favorite event every year that you like to go race at or spectate at? I
love to watch Gold Cup. That's probably the one thing I want to do every year, is watch at least one night at Gold Cup. Lately with just working and everything like that, just the money wise, just wanting to keep up with that. But so I just do one night a year on that. But as far as going to race, I would love to be at Cycline every night, watching all the kids grow up and learn, just everything like that. Just watching everybody, like my little nephew and Blake, he's improving every time he's out on the racetrack, and can't wait to see him in a 250 this year.
You've been at the races your entire life pretty much. So who did you look up to as a kid at the racetrack?
My dad. Just watching him race, learning, watching him. I didn't pay attention a whole lot when I first started going out there, because I just wanted to play with the dirt and make little dice, things like that. But just watching him, just everything he did. One of his great friends, Mike Higby, he was another guy I looked up to watching. He was actually number 22 also, so that's kind of where I got the number from. But those two guys right there are always fun to watch.
Can you list all your family members that have ever strapped into a race car and raced?
Sean, my dad, my sister, my brother-in-law Scott. Let's see, what else? Lisa.
Oh, Lisa?
Yes. Yeah, she did the mechanics race one night at the banquet.
Oh,
so that was fun to watch. She actually raced against Clint's wife.
Oh, my Uncle Clint?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I've never heard that story.
Yeah, they raced that same night.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was a fun battle.
See, there's things that you learn every day, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get away from it. That's why I have to go to school every day. So, Daniel, what's the plan for the rest of the 2017 season?
Just hit and miss with the go-kart. Like I said, just want to hang out with Abby and be with the family, my wife, Brandy. And race the sprint car as much as possible. Like I said, with Rod traveling with his work, it's going to be hit and miss, but whenever we get a chance to, I'm going to be out there. Probably Silver Dollar mostly, I think, and then Marysville.
Do you have any racing rituals or superstitions?
just get in the car early. That's about the only thing I can really say as far as superstition, just wanting to get ready. I don't really have any, anything other than that I can think of.
Well, my dad, you should talk to my dad. He's got like a 5-page superstition.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a big guy in no green. Or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to check that out. A lot of people don't like the color green. They just want to get away from it, but I love it.
My brother pointed out it's color to go or something like that.
Yeah,
it's the green flag.
Green is fast.
I guess what that is. That's going to wrap up our show today. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you for having me.